Great. Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Johnston. I oversee academic access and support here at the college, and we have some really exciting updates to share with the community. A few of these were discussed at Saints Institute, and there have been more changes, so we thought it would be worth briefing the community on who are our new members of the academic access and support, and what does our services really look like now that we have students in courses and looking for help and resources. Emily, next slide. So the big change, I would say, compared to past years, is that we now have a Saints Learning Commons as opposed to a tutoring center. And this is a collaborative space where students can come hang out with their friends, work on group projects, study. And we have a new service as part of that, which is our academic guides. And they are undergrad students who are in the space, Tower 2129, same space, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, and on Friday, 10 to 3. And their job is to create a space where students want to study. We've got coffee, calm lights, etc., but also help guide students who are looking for more resources or just getting stuck in how do I improve my academics, which has included new topic areas, including how to help with Brightspace, Google Suite, email, etc. So these are model students who can talk to other students about the best resources for their situation, or even think of some things that maybe the student hasn't thought about. In addition, we also have drop-in homework time specific to some subjects, which I'll talk more about in a second, and really doing outreach and programming around academic success and strategies in general, as opposed to just drop-in hours for Chem 1040 from 1 to 3, which is sort of how we had operationalized academic support previously. And we were noticing post-pandemic that people weren't utilizing that support in the same way. And so we wanted to kind of rebrand and reestablish what our services could offer. And so this is new, and very much so we are in the growing phase. So as we have new questions come in, new concerns, we're training our guides on the spot here. And I really encourage all students to come if they're around the Duluth campus, but we have other ways the guides are engaging with extended online students. Next slide. So always the most up-to-date information on academic support is on my CSS under help and resources, clicking academic support. That's going to be your go-to place with the most up-to-date links. Next slide. And in there, you'll see we have this top area that's academic guides and learning strategies. That's where you're going to find out the information about the guides. Next. And as mentioned, we are interested in serving more than just our main undergrad students. So we have a submit a question function in which a student can click and fill out a form to be connected with our guides. We've had a variety of questions such as, how do I buy my books, to how does Brightspace integrate my calendar on Google Cal? And also, like, I don't know how to do midterms. Can you give me some strategies? And so it's been a really interesting new service, and we want to be really pushing this out as a way for students to connect with our resources, even if they don't want to come in person or aren't able to connect in person. I briefly alluded to this. We have power hours now in our tutoring repertoire of services. So on specific days and times, we want to encourage students to come in and work on their homework specific to these subjects. And the great thing is it's guided by one of our upper class students in that subject who can answer a variety of questions. And we want to host general time to get homework done. So math, we have Mara and Ryan on Mondays. Computer science, we have Kyle on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is great for like some coding hours. Lastly, we have nursing Thursdays with Abby. And so this is a service that I'll see growing as we get more connections with academic support or academic departments on campus. But this is really to provide a welcoming environment to work on your classes, no matter what level you're at in your major. And then I did want to provide an example of one of our resources we've been building up as a result of focusing on general academic skills and strategies. So maybe you've seen these on campus in some of our bathrooms, but we have 15 study methods and they're spread throughout campus. And if folks want to see them all, they can click the QR code. And so things like this are going to be seen around campus. We're kind of taking over the Stall Street Journal, having strategies listed. We're also going to have some planner hours and candy salad with the guides, etc. So doing some programming around how do we normalize planning our time thoughtfully and some of the academic strategies that have been really successful for some of our students in spreading the word. So what's the same? We still have tutoring. Tutoring is offered by appointment at csstutoring.setmore.com. Students can go in and find the subject, the class, and the tutor and book through them. There is an option for Zoom appointments and in-person appointments. And if there's a subject that's not listed there, the students are encouraged to connect with me and we'll find some resources to help them. And we also have tutor.com still. That's a service through off-campus tutors. So those aren't our CSS students, but can be really helpful for students who maybe don't want to work with somebody at CSS with like an outside perspective on some subjects. And tutor.com has quite a myriad of offerings as well. So we continue to use their services. We also still have SI, supplemental instruction for anatomy and physiology, junior level nursing, and homework help, which is a weekly service for Gen Chem, OChem, physics to help students specifically on their homework in those classes. Again, led by student role models and student tutors. Quick plug, tutor.com. You can connect now with a tutor, submit writing for review, although we're going to tell you a better resource for that in a hot minute, and or schedule with a tutor, which is where you're going to see the biggest breadth of subjects available. And tutor.com specializes in nursing and healthcare. So those are subjects that are actually pretty great, I would say, in this service to connect with healthcare professionals who can answer questions. So tutor.com, which is the links are all accessible through my CSS, that tab, either clicking tutor.com or the academic support tab will get you to tutor.com too. Next up, I'll let my new colleague, Jonathan Whaley, introduce himself for what's new in military student support.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Whaley. If you see me around school or if you have to email me or anything, I just go by John. Like Jessica said, I came on this semester for the school came up with a full-time position for military service specialist. So that includes support for the students, whether it be student support, support balancing their service and education, or benefits help. And the other side of my job, 50% of it will be recruitment and admissions for military service members. And that includes family members, excuse me, family members as well. Jessica and I just had a conversation about that this morning. It just so happens we have about half of our students that are receiving VA benefits for school are actually dependents, children and spouses of the service members themselves. So it actually makes up a good bit of our military community as dependents. So Veterans Day is coming up too. As y'all probably remember from years past, if you've been here, we always do something for Veterans Day at the beginning of the school day, the beginning of the day. We're going to continue trying to grow that event. Last year, it went really, really well. We were sad Jessica couldn't be there, but it went super well. And we're hoping to continue growing that this year. And y'all should be seeing some stuff come out about that soon.
Thank you. Next up, Hannah Bober.
Hello, my name is Hannah Bober. I am the Assistant Director with the Center for Equal Access. And as of right now, here are some updates. So our testing center has moved. We moved it at the beginning of August to Science 1206. this was an exciting move. We do not have carpet on the walls anymore, which if you've heard us talk about the testing center before, that was always a goal to get rid of the carpet on the walls. It took moving spaces, but the new space is closer to our office, as well as near our distraction-free rooms as well. So it's kind of all that hallway is testing center stuff. So it helps with keeping that volume down in that hallway, which is great for those students taking their exams. With that, we've also implemented some increased exam security measures, just to ensure that we continue to improve in those areas. So some of what that looks like is that we are doing Zoom proctoring for those paper exams that are in our D-Free suites. We are having students place their cell phones and smartwatches on the proctor's desks in a phone basket or in our main office. And some other various things to help improve in these areas. If you have questions or about students' exams or are sending us exams, we last year had created the CEA Testing Center email, and we're continuing to use that. We found it was super helpful to kind of keep exam things separate than the other myriad of emails we got to access, as well as this kind of leads into the second point of Sadie is no longer here. So we do not have somebody designated to oversee the testing center. And I know a lot of faculty previously would just email Sadie their exams directly. Please don't do that. It will go nowhere. Please email those to the testing center email. With Sadie's absence, we are in the process of getting approval to hire a new person for that position, who will, take over Sadie's previous roles, but we've added some other things to that will kind of trickle over into the Saints Learning Commons and APP and those types of activities. We are on year 3 of our peer mentor program. And this summer we actually expanded to offer peer mentoring to grad students. And I think right now we have about 4 or 5 grad students using peer mentors. And then we have specific peer mentors for undergrad students as well. So that's been really helpful at both levels. It allows students to meet with a peer that's also registered with our office to talk through, organization strategies, time management, utilizing their accommodations, how to talk to their instructors, really anything the student needs. And getting that, well, this is what's worked for me from a peer who, has a little bit closer understanding of utilizing those accommodations. And then we are in the process of implementing 2 new policies on campus. The PCA policy was approved on a intermediate status, because we put it through the quick review, or I forget what they call it, and then now it's going through the full review, but we had to push it through quickly because we have a PCA on campus with a student. So this just may be, as with faculty, you may have a PCA in your class, which if you do, you would we email you ahead of time to address any questions. But the PCA policy is in the policy library, so you can review it. But if you have questions about that specifically, feel free to reach out. And then we are in the process of creating a campus-wide service animal policy. Right now, there's kind of 2 different policies in existence, one through HR, one through our office. We are working with HR to combine those into just one general across-the-board service animal policy, which aligns with what majority of other colleges are doing.
Thank you. Emily and Ruth with the Writing Center.
Sure. So leave it to the Writing Center to have the most words on our slide. There's lots of exciting updates. So really quickly, I am the new director of the Writing Center. I'll be in the Writing Center. I'll also be working on some writing across the curriculum initiatives. Nothing incredibly formal, but if you're faculty, you'll hear from me, I'm sure, in the future about sessions or workshops or opportunities on that front. We also welcome, she was here before me, but we welcome Ruth. I'll let you introduce yourself quickly.
All right, I am Ruth Knezovich. I am the current assistant director of the Writing Center, working with Emily to kind of re-energize, revitalize, reimagine what the Writing Center can be on campus and how we can meet the needs of the student body that we currently have. So my focus in my role here is to increase support options to graduate students and provide in-house St. Scholastica kind of sanctioned feedback to minimize use of third-party contracted services such as tutor.com, which is a great resource, and I am really glad that we have it. And I want to help ensure that the feedback that students are getting, particularly graduate students, is consistent, is in keeping with our values, and comes with some of the inside knowledge that we have from being able to form and maintain relationships with faculty in the programs. I've also worked to compile a website, and I think that has been shared out. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at it, look particularly at the faculty resource page that we have been putting together to ensure greater access to the range of writing services that we have here to offer.
Yeah, and we have, Ruth and I, of course, have lots of plans for the Writing Center and changes we might want to make, but for now, a few things that stay the same. We have 7 undergraduate writing consultants on duty in person, ready to help students. That's particularly where Ruth and I would like to funnel undergraduate on campus here in Duluth students to visit us in person and meet a student and have that conversation about writing. On our website, you'll also see we do take online submissions, as Ruth mentioned. That's where we're funneling a lot of the graduate students who maybe are distant students or on other campuses or, working full-time, whatever they're doing, where Ruth and I can give some feedback there. As she said, I put the URL in the chat. There's tons more on our website about some of our policies. Our resources page for students is a whole list of tried and true Writing Center, writing instructor vetted, approved, resources for students on citation and grammar and all sorts of things. So bookmarking our website is a great way to just kind of keep track of what we're up to. Yeah, I think that's just watch the website for more. We will eventually be adding sort of a newsletter option that faculty in particular might want to just subscribe to hear some more news or ideas or things that are coming out of the Writing Center or coming from my writing across the curriculum work. You can watch the website for news about that. But that's where we're at with the Writing Center this fall. We're ready and eager. Our new consultants are eager to get more appointments. So send your students our way, either in person or online.
Thank you. Thank you all. I'm going to stop the recording. So if anyone has any questions, we'll want to answer those now.